This is the Gore N More podcast with your hosts TJ Bowser, Chad Chrisman, and Big Johnny D. We have such sights to tell you.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Gore N More podcast. This is your host with the most, TJ Bowser, and joining me, as always, is your Dark Lord and Savior, Chad Chrisman.
What's up, bitches?
And joining us today is the Mid-South Maniac, Cory Coffman.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason Voorhees himself, Bobby. I'm not even going to say your last name.
I'll kill you all later.
How do we say your last name?
Aimone.
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 If you don't pronounce it right, you might find your head in a hole.
Jesus Christ. So, welcome to the Gore N More podcast. Thank you guys for joining me. Chad, how was your week?
It was all right, aside from having to drop $100 on a damn car battery.
Motherfucker.
Stupid fucking thing. But other than that, just work and enjoying the 4th with the kids.
Okay. What about you, Cory?
It was great until today. So, I don't know. It was an amazing weekend, man. I had a lot of good family down here, and then we shipped my son off with my mom to go hang out with family for 2 weeks. So I'm kidless, so I don't know what the hell to do. But yeah, I mean, it's Monday again, so it just kind of sucks. So,
Bobby.
Yes.
What about you?
My week was good. My week was good. I had a good weekend with friends and family, and I had a photo shoot yesterday, but not as Jason. It was something totally different.
The Grim Reaper shoot.
Yeah, it was the first time I did it. That was supposed to be a next year deal, but it's not the one that I wanted to do. It was just what I needed for the shoot. So those pictures should be up probably the next couple of days.
Now, is it true that you have a full nude premium Snapchat for your Jason photography?
Absolutely. How did you know? Not only is it full nude, you get full nude me and full nude other people. It is a beautiful
wow. Thing. Wow. Yeah, you guys, look up Bobby's premium Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Yeah, you want to really know what happens?
What?
You get a big middle finger, so you got a fucking pwn.
Okay, so what did I do this week?
Well, TJ, what did you do this weekend? Please tell us.
Well, I put up my new Friday the 13th display, horror display kind of thing, in my living room with the assistance of everybody. Procured a bunch of items, more stuff still to come. But I think if you guys follow me on social media, you've fucking seen it by now. Even Adam Marcus commented on it. So he'll like it a lot more in a couple months, won't he, Coffman?
I guess.
I guess. We're going to be adding some.
Don't worry. I have my own, too, so I know of trying to add more.
Yes.
I'm just going to give everything. I'm going to give all my shit to TJ and just say, here, put it all on your shelf because I don't have the room.
I like the room. Okay, so let's play a quick message from our sponsors and then get right back to the show. The Gore N More podcast is brought to you in part by the iconic 80s slasher villain Jason Voorhees lives on in photography, brought to you by 13 Gallows Lane. It's the home of Friday the 13th Blood and Gore cosplay photography. You can find them on Facebook at Gallows Goes to Hell, Instagram and Twitter at 13 Gallows Lane, and on Patreon at Emily Helene. Warning, Patreon content is not safe for work. Hey there, groovy guys and gals. Do you like spooky shit and horror movies? Then come on down to Cabin 13. Check out their selection of horror-themed props, pins, busts, collectibles, and more. Be sure to check Cabin 13 out on Facebook and Instagram. Get your ass over to Cabin 13 and buy something now. And we are back to the Gore N More podcast. So, the discussion of today's episode is Friday the 13th fan films. Chad, what are we starting with?
We are starting with Friday the 13th Vengeance.
Excellent. We might know a little bit about Vengeance here, guys.
Yeah, maybe just a little.
just a little bit.
Just a skosh.
So, this is how this episode's going to go. We're going to break down 3 different fan films, talk about one upcoming fan film. So we got 3 of them. We got Vengeance, The Fall of Camp Blood, and Jason Rising that we will be discussing today. Those are the ones that we are all hyped about and can't wait to see. And we will break down each one of them for you and tell you why we're excited, what gets us excited, what we don't like, what are some of our gripes, what are some of the positives, what are some of the negatives, and just anything we can really fucking possibly think of when it comes to fan films. We will break it down for you. So first off, like Chad said, Vengeance storyline is... Coffman, you want to read it?
Vengeance takes place roughly 30 years after the events of Jason Lives Friday the 13th, Part 6. The story begins with Elias Voorhees, Jason's father, returning to Crystal Lake and a string of grisly murders that soon follow his arrival. After hearing the news of the most recent killings, Tommy Jarvis then goes missing, which leaves it up to his daughter Angelica Jarvis to rise to the challenge of not only finding her father, but also finding a way to destroy his old nemesis, Jason Voorhees, in the process. Armed with knowledge never previously known about Jason, Angelica may prove to be his greatest threat yet, which culminates in an epic showdown of Jarvis versus Voorhees.
Yes. So, what do you guys think about that story, Bobby?
Well, I like the fact that it takes place 30 years after Part 6, because the original ending was supposed to be Elias coming to check on his grave, but they never shot it. So they did the illustration in the special edition DVD, and it was pretty cool to see the illustration done as to how he shows up and thinks that Jason's in his grave. So it is a pretty cool way to start off. And it sounds like a pretty goddamn good story, really. The only thing I would say is, I mean, I never thought Tommy would have gotten married, so how he got a daughter, or if there was a way that happened. I was just curious how that happened. Other than that, I think it's going to be a fucking bloodbath, and it's going to be a great film from what it sounds like.
Well, we really don't know where Tommy went after Part 6, and the guy could be a pussy hound. He could be slaying left and right. I mean... sowing his wild oats, you know?
Yeah, he's got bragging rights after that. He's like, hey, bitch.
I don't know. That PTSD thing, it's going to get to you even when your guy is dead. Come on. You know he's got something.
What, so like Jason Voorhees is going to prevent him from nutting? Like,
come on.
I don't know. It prevented him before that.
Chad, what do you think, man?
Well, I like the fact that they're using a legacy character in this, carrying on with Tommy Jarvis's daughter, which is kind of cool. But here's the gripe that I have. How old is Elias Voorhees?
He's got to be...
The dude's got to be in his 90s.
90s, or I'll tell you right now, 80s at the least, because there's no way.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Jason was born in, what, 1946?
Six. Yeah, it was June 13th, 1946.
I don't know. Some other powers must be at play or something.
No idea.
But I think from what we've seen so far, I mean, the trailer kicked ass. It looks really cool.
Yes.
I got a lot of high hopes for this one.
And we'll talk about the trailer very, very soon. I like the story. It's definitely going to fit into the franchise very, very well. And that's something you definitely want for a fan film, something where you can just pick off right from another film, especially seeing that Part 7 and 8 aren't one of the better films of the franchise. Chad has said in previous episodes about him going back and revisiting those films and understanding that they're just not what they really are cracked up to be.
Yeah, you look at Part 7, you think, oh, wow, when I first saw it, it was great. And then you look back through it, you're like, it's not that great.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it through rose-colored glasses. I can barely sit through it now.
I feel you.
I think if Part 7 wasn't cut down due to MPAA, it would have been a better film than what it was.
Okay. I can agree with that. But I like how this, like I said, it picks up right after 6 and follows all these characters that are already well established and continues and expands on the story and the lore. I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need, especially seeing in the predicament that we are in. But we will discuss that later.
Yeah.
Coffman.
It's a fucked up thing.
It's a horrible thing. It's an ugly mess.
Coffman, shoot it. What is it? What do you think?
Well, no, I'm looking forward to it for a variety of reasons. But I think the aspect of bringing Elias into it, regardless of how old he is, there is a lot of things at play. You can already tell by the trailer. There's some perspective sequences that they flash back to that you're going, okay, wait a minute. I remember this scene from part 1. That was Pamela, right? So I think them actually going back and forth, doing some flashbacks, further describing this story, where the Jarvis's tie in, where Steve Dash's character, Sheriff Relati, ties in. This is going to be a really, really good story. And I think putting the visual aspect of it to it with a great story, which, not to say anything about other fan films out there, but this is going to make some sense. I think, but with the Elias, yeah, I think the biggest, like Bobby was saying about the age gap thing. I think there's going to be some kind of hidden gems in there that may be describing, it may describe also why is Jason alive, and maybe some other, what happened to him? Did he die? Did this happen? Whatever happened. But I think they're going to fill in some gaps and really take a tangent on this. Like you said, 7 and 8 for me. I like the looks of 7 and 8, but storyline wise, no one really gives a shit about Jason against Carrie. No one cares about Jason on a boat, but like visually for me, like I love the looks of 7, 8, but for this to actually be a continuation of a story and it actually makes some tangible fucking sense from 6 to 30 years later, I think that's what I'm most looking forward to, is just seeing how this storyline goes and then it hopefully making sense to me as a fan. So
absolutely.
Agreed.
Chad, shoot that cast, brother. Okay, the cast stars Jason Brooks as Jason Voorhees.
Woo!
Tyler Garris as a young Jason Voorhees. Mr. CJ Graham as Elias Voorhees.
Who dat?
Never heard of
Some new guy. Must be new.
Drew Tatcher as a young Elias Voorhees. Kelly Tappan as Angelica Jarvis. Sine Lautzis as Ashley Jarvis. Joy Curtis as Great Grandma Abigail Jarvis. Asta Wiley as young Abigail Jarvis. Sounds like this is going to be jumping around in time a lot. Steve Dash as Sheriff Relati. Raymond Power as young Relati. There's going to be a lot of jumping back and forth. Julia Valente as Deputy Alice Brooker. Ray Hopper as Deputy Lewis Tucker. Cameron Lee Price as Deputy Mason Bohms. And Aria Ray as Deputy Garris.
Coffman, break down that chain gang for us.
God, dude, I don't have them all in front of me though. There was so many of us, dude. Well, so many. There was 12 of us. But man, I don't remember all the names. We had a great time on set because I was one of them. God, other than like Peter's one of the main guys, obviously Peter Anthony. It really, we just go by inmate names. But all of us had to kind of come up with names. So I don't have the names in front of me because there was 12 of us, but we were just having too much of a good of a time. We didn't really pay attention to who the hell was
now
what.
You played the gay inmate, correct?
Now, it's not that I played. It's not like they're like, hey, we got to fill a role of a gay inmate. I decided that on set.
I heard that was the problem, is that you wanted all the other inmates to fill your role. God
damn it. Well, my thought was this. I was the only guy who wasn't local, so I didn't get a chance to test fit this awesome garb that is the Chain Gang wardrobe. Mm-hmm. So when I got there, I'm like, yeah, an XL would be great, and it'll probably have some give to it. But apparently prison outfits don't have no give. So, I'm 6'2", about 290. Okay. When it's hot out. So it was kind of tight. And I thought, okay, everyone else's look like it fits them. They're comfortable. So I said, okay, well, I told them, I said, I'll do the gay thing. That's fine. And I think I did it pretty well because, dude, it kept everyone just laughing and on their toes. And, with us being like a big group of guys, it was like, we have to fuck off, and just kind of, we're getting scolded by all these prison guards and whatnot. So, I took it upon myself to do that. But we were doing everything from Donald Trump impressions to making jokes about politics, and it was, we were out there all day. Peter takes the cake on this one. That's because, towards the end of this Chain Gang sequencing, he faces off with Jason Voorhees. So
we will see that very soon. So let's break down this cast list. Who wants to break down this cast list by names that pop out at you? Bobby, Cory, any of you guys want to do this?
I'll do a couple if you
Okay.
want. Jason Brooks as Jason. I've never met him, but I've seen the look outside of the film. I've seen bits and pieces. I won't say where I saw them from. The fucking mask, the whole outfit looks fucking ridiculous. It looks great in that sense is what I mean. And just watching him in the trailer, I think we're going to get a pretty fucking kick-ass Jason out of him.
I agree.
And then the other one I know is Julia. She's a friend of mine. So she's been promoting this as well a lot at cons. And I know she works pretty close with Steve Dash. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to be doing in the film in terms of acting and everything. And then obviously CJ Graham. It's such a pretty damn good cast. There's not going to be a shortage of great moments from anybody, I don't think. We're going to get some pretty cool shit out of this.
Agreed. It is Steve Dash's farewell performance.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like you said, CJ coming back to be once again play a pivotal role in the Friday the 13th franchise as Papa Elias. Can't wait to see what he delivers. That trailer definitely, and we'll talk about that here next, really shows that Elias character. And I just can't wait to see him on screen just kicking ass. You know what I mean? I think he said at
absolutely.
Monster Mania he gets at least 3 kills.
Elias does.
Yes.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was weird, man. It was something weird because like the first time meeting him, he was really pretty friendly, go lucky. But man, as soon as he got the Elias character on and all the garb, dude, he flipped that switch, and he said it was the same thing as what he did for Jason Lives. And once he did that, you couldn't even look him in the face because he was pretty fucking intimidating. So, no, he had it figured out, and the communication that him and Steve both had with Jason Brooks about the Jason character, and letting Jason Brooks fulfill it how he needed to. It was a fun watching this develop. I was only on set for a few days, but watching develop, seeing behind the scenes stuff, it was surreal. And I mean, Jason Brooks as Jason was, he did the same thing, man. He was all fun and games, but as soon as he got into character, dude, it was kind of game on, and we just had to, kind of figure out what the hell's going on now, So it was a hell of a lot of fun, and all these people, the way they did their parts from what I seen being on the set, it was pretty impressive, considering like basically everybody donated their time for this. And most of them are fans, anyways. And so they flipped their switches, man. And it was surreal seeing that just happen in front of you. So when this is on film, I think it's going to translate just 120%.
Absolutely. Chad, anything you want to comment?
We still talk about the cast, or
yes.
Just obviously, my favorite Jason, Steve Dash, his farewell performance is what I'm really looking forward to seeing, and CJ Graham's just intense as hell.
Yes,
as Elias Voorhees. Yep. But yeah, it looks like a pretty solid cast from what we see here, and from what I understand, there's going to be a lot of really sweet little Easter eggs in the movie that we can all look forward to looking for.
I have no idea who would be responsible for that shit, though. It's like I definitely don't know the people that were involved with the props or set design or anything.
But you can tell just from even just looking at the cast and the breakdown and seeing the trailer. This is a labor of love for these people. It's not done just to make them famous. They're doing it because they really care about this, and they were taking their time and really put 100% maximum effort into this, and it really shows. And I really like what I'm seeing so far. Really enjoy what I'm hearing about it too.
Yeah, agreed.
And to mention about some of the production stuff, Mick Strawn is working on this, and Tom McLaughlin did work on this as well. And those are two very, very highly respected people in the horror community.
Right.
Mick being responsible for literally designing Freddy's fucking dream worlds. From part 3, part 4, all the way through Freddy's Nightmare, stuff like that. Mick is the reason for that, and the creativity and the scope that he can present and the professionalism that he presents on screen is the stuff of literal nightmares. And to have him on a film like this, and having him so heavily involved in a film like this, and I think Cory can attest to this, and I talk to Mick a lot, that's probably because I do podcasts with him. he's really invested in this project, and he truly and honestly believes in it. And they took his input very seriously, right, Coffman?
Man, he was, he took it all very literal, and it was my first time meeting him, and then, being able to put a face with the name. But me and him had a lot of discussions while we were working on set, whether it was, here we got a nice brand new looking cabin. Okay. And he's like, I need to make it look 30, 40 years old and vacated and distraught and whatever. And we're like, all right. Me and Jason Brooks had the task of doing that. And, but he was really particular. I mean, if something didn't set well with him, in terms of like, if he goes, this is good, but it could be better. You took what he said and you said, okay. And he really steered the ship when it came creatively, and it helped all of us. And I tried to capitalize on it a lot and tried to almost cut him off at the head where I wanted to anticipate what he had to say before he had to say it. So I could go ahead and present something to him and him like, well, shit. Okay. That's exactly what I wanted. And it helped a lot.
Yeah. In terms of trailer, we've all seen the trailer. Myself, I've watched it maybe 30 times minimum. Excellent trailer, very well presented, very professional looking. The cinematography is incredible by Dustin. Yes. Jeremy and him are just the dynamic duo when it comes to this sort of stuff. Very, very well put together, I have to say so. It definitely has the typical trailer feel, with the arc and the climax and the hype and the suspense. It's perfect. And it really takes itself seriously in that. It's definitely more than a fan film, as the poster and as the marketing says. It's definitely that. Chad?
I agree. And another thing, and you mentioned the poster, and the poster actually has that old school Friday the 13th part 1 through 3.
Cory designed that.
That's awesome. But, like, he just told me this as I'm sitting here saying it. I love that. I love that poster.
I'm not going to say that. I'm just letting you guys talk. I'm not going to be like, oh, I did all that shit.
Big dick swinging over here.
I literally didn't know that before we started talking about the poster.
Well, I mean, it was hard. It was easy. It was like, why not? Because originally that poster was done as a gift to Jason Brooks on his birthday. It's a total surprise. But I kept thinking, if you're embodying this classic character, I said, I was mad that they ever kind of fell off that whole track of those kinds of posters after part 3. And I was like, you know what? Steve Dash is in this. That kind of attests to it and brought it back, and then I thought, how can I incorporate this? And we had some good opportunities to take really good pictures. And I told Jason, I said, let's do some really iconic shit, And so I was lucky. I mean, everything just felt right. And every time I presented them with something, they were just blown away. And I kept thinking, well, okay, I just wanted input. And they're like, no, this is it. And the saying, I mean, that's all Steve Dash, man, in a couple of his interviews, he said it because he meant it. And when I talked to the marketing team, I said, you guys got to use that. I mean, he wouldn't have said that just to bullshit, because he doesn't bullshit. And when he said that, I said, that's it. And then everyone just went to town with it and said, okay, that's what we want to make it. Not just the fact that it's a tribute to Steve, it's his wording, the way he worded it, more than a fan film. And some people take it as like, oh, you're better than us. No, that's not the point. It is the point of it's better than, it's more than a fan film, meaning that if you would have seen everyone on set and knowing that, basically everyone's working for free. This is a total donation of time, love, and commitment. And Steve's seen that. And he's seen what the crew did for him, traveling all the way to Florida to kind of film his scenes, because he literally could not fly to Seattle to do it. So he's seen it, and then attested to it. And we all agreed that was the tagline that needed to be with this film, period. So,
yeah, Bobby,
I'm here. I remember the first time I watched the trailer, and it was just intense from the get-go till the ending of it.
Did it leave you sweaty?
One of my favorite. What's that?
Did it leave you sweaty?
A little bit. My favorite shot of the whole thing is at the end, where you see Elias and Jason face to face. I want to know if Elias says anything to him. Like, I want to know terribly bad. What would he say to his son?
Give daddy a kiss.
Like, I'm just curious. What do you say to your son who's been dead Now he's back facing you in the face. What do you say to him?
You ever watch Pet Sematary?
That's a little different, okay? Gage was a baby.
That's not fair.
I'm excited for this film. Very excited. And the trailer capped that when I saw it. I said, all right, yeah, this is going to be fucking awesome to see and watch. This is just such a fun film.
And it's cool that you like that last part so much, because that was not in the original cut of the trailer up until 2 days before they released the trailer.
Really?
It was weird because it ended, it ended the way it was kind of going to, like, and then when Jeremy and all of us, got together, he goes, they said we wanted to add one more thing to it. When I seen that, I said that's it. I think we all agreed, crew wise, we're like, holy shit. If just adding that last clip in there just created a whole slew of speculation. Do they team up? Are they facing off? What is this?
Or
is this the father,
somebody
son?
going to die or something?
Yeah.
It gives you a ton of like what can possibly, which I love in general.
Yeah.
I always like what can possibly happen, what can be done that wasn't done before, but pay tribute. And that to me is definitely one of those things where it's like something's going to happen, but we'll never know until the movie comes out.
I think they call that the money shot of the trailer.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I'm totally like, something? I would not want to know until it comes out anyway. So when it comes out, you bet your ass I'm going to try and make it to that premiere in fucking Blairstown, because I only live an hour away.
I feel you on that. Don't you too, Coffman?
Yeah, I feel like, if I start walking now, I could get my ass up there in time.
Yeah.
So, just throwing that out there.
Might need some help getting up there. I mean, it takes a little bit. Speaking of help getting up there, just want to thank everybody at Vengeance, because our next little portion here is we talk about the interviews that I've done with Vengeance and my experience with everybody. So thank you guys for being so cooperative with the Do Back Discussion Network and the Gore N More podcast. I know I'm annoying, but I like to think I kept on you guys and produced a decent quality product, especially when it came to your podcast interviews. And I loved every single interview that I did for you guys. It was really, really cool. Very cool experience. And because of the opportunities that you guys presented with me, it really took Gore N More to that next level and opened up the doorways to like crazy shit, because I met Mick through you guys. I met Cory. I met Joe Castro, Jason Brooks, Peter, Jules, literally everybody because of this. And just want to thank everybody for being so cooperative and working with me through everything. So with that being said, yeah, Cory. With that being said, we will break down some of the interviews, with the first one being the CJ Graham interview that I did last week. I met CJ back at Monster Mania earlier this year, and I told him about my podcast, and his wonderful wife, Ruby, wrote it down. And apparently I made enough impression that CJ remembered the podcast, because if you couldn't tell by last week, he keeps up with this. And he's a very big fan of the work that we do. And
that's fantastic.
He's very aware of what we do, and it very, very humbled by that. Great interview. Huge opportunity for me to interview one of the best. Also, next I did Joe Castro, and that interview literally, what was it, like over 400 hits in a day? And that was one of our biggest episodes to date when we did it.
To that point, that was our biggest episode. And
Joe has just become friends with all the Gore N More crew since then. He comments on our stuff. He's very supportive, and we really like your work. Really cool guy. Him and his partner, Steven, awesome filmmakers. They do a lot of crazy work in the film industry, especially the lower budget type stuff. Very good work. Then next, I interviewed Mick, and that turned into a rabbit hole, and then turned into the rabbit hole. That's been a crazy ride. I get calls from Mick all the time now. Definitely got a big relationship with him. He calls me 2 or 3 times a week just to tell me some crazy ideas that he has. And pretty much I'm there as the spillover guy. Any ideas to spill out of his head, I have to catch and then write down. And then we'll talk about it the next Friday. Great guy. Definitely going places with him. Can't wait to work with him. Jason Brooks. That's been quite the friendship. He's helped us out with a lot of interviews, including that CJ Graham one. He helped us do the partnership for Steel City Con. He's quite the guy. He's a humanitarian. He's an amazing actor, and I can't wait to see where his career goes. Nothing but good news coming from him. Jules, Cory, you know Jules. Bobby, you know Jules.
Yeah. Yep.
Tremendous actor, great person, amazing cosplayer, and
Yes, she
she's
is.
definitely going places. Peter, I can't say enough about Peter. He's helped me so much. He really believes in me. True Gore N More fan. Shows nothing but support. Hooked us up with our new YouTube partner Q. Really good videos on his part. Shout out to Q Reviews on YouTube. Do back discussion partner. Shameless plug. But Peter is also working with the Fall of Camp Blood, and we will talk about that later on in the episode. Kelly Tappan, great interview. Can't wait to see her as Angelica. Very pleasant to talk to. Bugsy, dude's a class act, top notch. A lot of character, from him, and of course, Coffman himself,
The big gay prisoner.
the big gay prisoner. I did a text interview for him, and that's pretty much where everything kind of started with me and Cory's friendship, and it kind of lost him from there, and now he's a full-blown do-backer. And he helps us with everything. We got quite the team now, guys, don't we?
Oh yes.
We're the Avengers of pop culture.
Oh, so you're actually
More like
you're
Motley Crue, but well, okay.
So we're the Avengers and not your favorite Justice League, huh?
You know what? No, you know what? We're the Justice League.
Oh no no backpedaling. You said it.
Avengers, come on, Avengers, come on.
I'm just getting so much shit because I'm such a anti-Marvel guy.
Oh, you're terrible.
Shout out to Vengeance. Can't wait for that film. Sometime the end of this summer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Cory? Sometime.
Yeah, I mean, anytime after July would be pretty solid, I would think.
Yep. Moving on. Chad, Jason Rising.
Jason Rising. Now this one looks really awesome. Okay. So here is the story breakdown. Jason Rising is a fan film dedicated to Friday the 13th. Jason Rising follows Wessex County Police Officer Pete Daltrey, played by Kyle Vahan, along with two local bounty hunters, Jed, Jason Reynolds, and Bear, Jerry Bell Jr., hot on the trail of three escapees from the Wessex County Corrections Farm. Soon after realizing their chase has led them onto the cursed grounds of Camp Crystal Lake, Daltrey and his men quickly discover they are the ones being hunted by the undead mass murderer Jason Voorhees, played by Dan Kyle.
This film looks incredible. Another film based after like the Part 4 look. Dan Kyle looks like a dope-ass Jason. The way he stands, the way he moves. Very aggressive, very violent. It's great. Film looked great. Been talking a lot to those guys. Carl, his cinematography is truly unique, inspiring, and I could watch it all fucking day. The story of this film looks great. Can't wait to see it. I'm a backer. Gore N More Podcast is a backer. Do Back Discussion Podcast. Do Back Discussion Network is a backer. We believe in this film. I can't wait to see it. Cory?
No, I loved it, man. It was such a different perspective. I mean, and actually right until you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on, you're like, well, whose hand's that? That's a petite hand. Coming out of the ground. And then you start hearing, Pamela's voice and I didn't second guess it, man. Seeing her trying to strut through the fucking forest, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like it was actually like very welcoming because I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then, she's breaking chains, opening a box and then, popped out Jason. I was like, well, fuck this. Okay. Like this is legit. Like it's the fact that you did not expect that at all. The last thing on anyone's mind was, hey, let's resurrect fucking Pamela. Like, Let's see what happens there. I mean, that right there, that sold me entirely. And I don't remember much else. Like that scenario, I was like literally just playing that little middle part over and over and over because I kept thinking, who the fuck comes up with that? Like, and because I was so like, damn, that is so original to me. And No, I had to back it immediately. It wasn't even a thought. Went ahead and got my cup of credits and my VHS. I had to get a VHS version of this. Like the hell, I'm going to play it on a VHS player, but just for the look of it, man, it looks great. The color grading in that scenario was perfect, and I'm super behind this. Looking forward to it.
Bobby.
When I first saw the trailer, same thing as Cory. I said the same thing. I'm like, whose hand is that? I kept looking at the long fingernails. I'm like, well, Jason had long fingernails in 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm like, that's too fucking small of a hand. And then once I saw that it was Pamela coming through the forest, I'm like, okay, so you're really bringing the mother factor, and this is gonna be cool.
The mother load.
Literally the mother load. And then I saw how Jason looked, and I'm like, I like how that looks. I like that movement. I'm like, that's pretty fucking sick.
Okay, so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Am I the only one that actually noticed that that was Pamela's gravestone? That you actually could see, like a second before her hand shot up, you could see the Pamela Voorhees gravestone.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Oh, no,
I didn't notice the first time, but I watched again today and noticed it.
Some of their promos.
No, I noticed it the first time. My favorite shot in that trailer, though, is him pulling that fucking canoe back.
Right, I was gonna say that. That's
like
insane.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, that is just so wicked.
That's the scene that sold me too.
Like,
yeah,
absolutely. Like, oh yeah.
What the fuck does he do when she gets to shore?
Good. Huh?
You just want to see what he does when she gets to shore.
Well, she was paddling so hard.
So
I
hard.
kept thinking, bitch, you don't understand what you're doing. Like,
You don't know how far you're getting, and it's not far.
Yeah.
maybe if I paddle really fast.
Yeah, he's pulling with all his might. You ain't going very far.
Yeah. Chad, did you? But you didn't give your 2 cents on this, right?
on the trailer.
No, on this the story.
On the story, I'm actually really looking forward to this one, especially because it seems like they really play up the supernatural element a bit more.
Yes,
than what we've seen
want.
before. I love the crazy shot of the resurrected Pamela Voorhees because you're wondering, is that real? Is it a hallucination? What the hell's going on here? And then like you get these guys said, breaking open the box, ripping the chains off, and there's Jason. It's just absolutely insane. This looks like about the craziest thing we've ever seen as far as a Friday the 13th film. I'm really looking forward to this one. And I love another thing I love is that you see a lot of shots of just his hands, and you saw that in part 4 especially. This is definitely a throwback to that. And on the Indiegogo website, you get a good shot of Jason used in this, and it's very part 4 inspired.
Yes.
It has like the lazy eye and his ear kind of sticking out. It's got a very part 4 look to it.
So the cast, we got Patrick Green as Deputy Cunningham. Where the hell did he get that last name from? Jason Reynolds as Jed Hawkins. Oh, we'll talk about it later. Christina Haddad as Pamela Voorhees, the voice. See, whenever you do Pamela Voorhees' voice, you don't have to put extreme echo and reverb on it. You really do, it's not really necessary. It comes off sounding really, really cheap, and nobody will take it seriously. Definitely not a shot at anybody. Jerry Bell Jr. is Bear. Dan Kyle is Jason Voorhees. Kyle Vaughn is Officer Pete Daltrey. Rochelle, Chad, help me, please.
Ms. Quiz
is Deputy Miller. Awesome people. Got the chance to talk to them. We'll talk about that later. But the cast is great. They're all like TV actors, all SAG TV type actors. What do you think? Cory, you've interacted with him.
Yeah, I have. One in particular who I'm really excited to see him in a different role is he was actually my chain gang partner on Vengeance was Jason Reynolds. And the dude is just out there. He's been in quite a few small projects and such, and actually a couple on Netflix, just small role stuff. But he's who I'm looking forward to seeing for sure. Just knowing that what he can bring to the table, and just literally we chatted on the Vengeance set for so long because we were chained together. So in particular him, for sure. That's one of the few guys I know, like I feel I know really well. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Right on. I just want to add here too. None of us have mentioned it yet that this is actually co-written by Vince DiSanti. He gets a
no shit.
Yeah, he gets a co-writing credit on IMDb, and it's mentioned on their Indiegogo page. It's nice to know that we have. I mean, obviously, Never Hike Alone is like the gold standard so far for fan films, and I think that if it wasn't for that success, we wouldn't be having these films popping up, and also with the whole legal problems, we probably wouldn't be getting all these fan films to begin with. But yeah, that's my little 2 cents I want to throw in there as far as the.
I agree with you 100%. To be honest, absolutely.
Has Bobby commented?
I have not.
Okay.
Well, I unfortunately I've never interacted with any of these people, but I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody does, especially Jason. I mean, I'm a Jason cosplayer. Jason's like the fucking spirit animal for me when shit just don't go right. All right, so I'm over here like I want to see what Jason's gonna do, because it never gets old watching him kill people. Never gets old. So, but everybody else, I'm curious how everybody plays out. I want to see the whole damn thing. I'm ready for it. That's it. That's all I got to it. And that look of Jason. Oh yeah, bring it home and let's see what this thing can do. That's what I'm ready for.
For sure. Moving on to the.
I'm no expert, but that's what we're gonna get.
Yeah. Moving on to the trailer. I think the trailer, again, similar to Vengeance, very good presentation, very professional looking, well shot, well edited, very strong. Creates a sense of suspense, creates dread, and I've made GIFs of different scenes, and really the way that Dan moves. And his presentation of Jason, his portrayal, is definitely reminiscent of that 3-4 style, and there's an intensity to that, to the way he portrays, like the him stabbing somebody with the signpost. So, it's so cool because this is the way it was shot and everything. You guys know what I'm talking about. The trailer's awesome. It really gets you hyped because there's all these different kills in it. You see him running and everything, and it just really makes it seem like it's that Jason Voorhees character. And then, of course, that dead Pamela shot of her hand wisping through the woods and her walking through. It's awesome. It's different. It draws you in. It makes you excited and hyped for this film. Chad?
Oh, I completely agree. I think it looks fantastic. The trailer is definitely a huge selling point. You got to see where this is going to go.
Cory.
I've watched the trailer so much that eventually, I'm not saying that anything wore off, but I started asking a lot more weird ass questions the more I watched the trailer. One in particular is, because some people are weird like that. They're like, well, she's talking a hell of a lot for not having her head, from what I recall. So like my initial thought was like, is this bitch going to be walking around headless? And then I started really like running that scenario through my head. Or did she find it? Did she hold it? Is she looking for it? Did somebody take it? I really want to know now where the hell her head's at. Like, not just figuratively speaking, like physically, where the hell is it at? But that's the cool part about it. I mean, if that's the only gripe you got is like, I want to know where her head's at. Is she going to have a head? Is she talking out of her throat? Like, now
let's talk about logistics here. Now for the head to get back to her, it would have had to have been taken from Jason and then placed back into her grave with her body. And that just seems like a lot of effort for like a child killer.
Well, I mean, but did she open Jason's grave saying, hey, can you tell me where my head's at? Like,
I just don't see
I need to know, son, where you put my shit. I told you to stay out of my drawers. Where is it? But that's the cool part about it is you can be kind of funny about it. But yeah, I mean, so what, at the end of part 2, the head should still be in his shed.
Yeah.
You never see it again after that.
Right. I mean, I don't know. It's probably in a shack still, and maybe, who knows? That'd be cool too if they somehow go back to the shack situation. I don't know.
Well, according to the old Nintendo game, her head is in a cave guarding Jason's machete.
Jesus. Okay.
Am I the only? Did you guys ever play that?
It's been a while, but I guess they could play it like that. Like, you know, they could play the music while him and his mom are holding hands going to find it without her head on. You know, that's fine. That would be interesting.
Bobby? Trailer reaction, brother. Or shall I say brother? Cory, you got the Frankenpoop reference, right?
Oh my God,
dude. Bobby gets it.
Could we not go a whole episode without mentioning that, dude?
Okay, Bobby, trailer reaction. What do you got?
But a man. Sorry.
All right. God fucking damn it. The first time I saw the trailer, I loved how it looked. Everything about it. Also, the fact that there was some daylight in this with Jason. I like the fact that there was a little daylight in there. At least when I saw him running, I'm like, he's in broad daylight. You don't normally see Jason in broad daylight, like killing, unless you're in a barn, like in part 3 or part 6.
Part 6.
So
definitely.
it's not a very often thing. So I was like, okay. And then the whole thing he said before about the head on Pamela, I'm like, so yeah, where is this thing going? I can't fucking see where it's going.
Again, this is why logistics need to be discussed when it comes to Pamela's head.
Well, I'm just glad no one's freaking out. Like, well, can she button up her blouse? Because we don't see none of that, too. You know,
Cory,
zombie titties everywhere. It worries.
Titties are titties. Don't be judging. So, but this is another one that I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I'm pretty much looking forward to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Being a fan myself, a huge fan, I'm just happy to get to see all this. Like they're all going to be good in their own way. There is no one bigger than the other. They're all going to be great as long as they deliver what every Friday the 13th fan wants, and it's going to be golden. It's going to be a damn good time.
Yep,
agreed.
So this is I'm looking forward to this big time.
Definitely.
I've interviewed 3 people from this film. First one being James Sweet. He was my first contact for the film. Excellent interview. Been talking with him off and on to do a Jason Rising costume. Super excited to see this film. Thank you, James, for everything that you've done. Thank you for the opportunity to interview you and your casting crew. It was great. Carl, thank you for ligature marks and our awesome intro. I love your music. We love your music videos, and we love your cinematography here at Gore N More. Absolutely A+, and I think Chad can agree. It is your color grading, the way you shoot, the angles. Oh, they're lit, boy. They're lit. Dan Kyle, our interview was great. You are super, super awesome to interview. So even though you said your favorite Jason kill was a Roy kill, that can be forgiven because of that fucking mustache.
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough one. Oof.
His mustache is one that rivals Cory Coffman's. So,
man, you were really pushing it, kid.
Hold on. I had to pick that up for reference.
We have the Cory, a sticker of Cory on our H4n Zoom handy recorder, and we have it propped up in the studio right now, staring at Chad. So it's like Cory's with us in the room.
It's the face of the business.
Eventually, I'm just going to send everyone, my mustache decals, and you can just have it.
I'm going to put it on my car.
Oh no!
See this picture right here? That just says, "Who wants a mustache ride?"
Right. But thank you, guys over at Jason Rising. Thank you for everything that you guys have done, and I can't wait to see your film. And I will continue to support and promote the fuck out of it. Moving on to something relatively new, but doesn't mean we aren't hyped for it, and that is the fall of Camp Blood. And I'm happy to say that Dubak is involved with this somehow, whether that be Cory messing around with stuff behind the scenes, using our sponsors, maybe some cameo appearances. But we'll talk about the story. In the fall of Camp Blood, we pick up the following events of Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Camp Blood has been shut down after the gruesome murders occurred. Before the demolition of the site, a group of teenagers must venture to empty their parents' cabin before it's destroyed. It doesn't take long before they remember why it was shut down in the first place. These are Jason's woods, and anyone who enters must deal with the consequences. Now, this story goes further than this, because we got legacy character played by none other than motherfucking Peter Anthony. My homie, my bro, is playing Rob Deere. Is that correct? Is that his name on this one?
James Deere.
James Deere. Rob is his brother.
Got a brother?
Named John.
John. Is it John?
John Deere.
John Deere.
That's John Deere.
But the film looks incredible. Peter, as of this morning, said that they hit a $32,000 goal on a film that initially only had 10,000. They brought Peter on worrying that they weren't going to hit their 10,000, and he brought 25 with him.
What'd you guys finish? 320%.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
You hire a professional, you get professional results, plain and simple.
Exactly.
Right? The cast is Peter Anthony. As well, what does everybody think of this story first? Chad?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I don't really know much about this yet. So it could kind of go either way. I mean, the storyline that we have here, and this came from both IMDb and their website. It's a little vague, but it leaves any kind of room for interpretation. It could be, I think it has a lot of room for potential. I like the idea that it's following up after the final chapter.
Mm-hmm. A year after.
Oh, really?
Yes, exactly a year.
Oh, sweet.
So the Jason we see in this will be kind of like an undead version. Is that correct, Cory? That's what we're hearing?
If it takes, with taking place after part 4, I mean,
he's been smacked in the head a couple times by Corey Feldman, so
that's all it takes.
So
I would say he's pretty much bit the dust again. I don't know. Since most of his brain's probably not halfway intact anymore.
Yeah,
like he had any,
right?
I don't know. I mean, I know he had an odd shaped head, but damn, that's a lot of brain, I would think. You got a thick skull.
I think now knowing that this picks up like a year after part 4, that actually sways me a little more towards it now, as far as long as they keep the whole 80s look and feel intact.
Yeah.
Don't pull that Texas Chainsaw 3D shit with them having cell phones and stuff.
Easy now. That film was written properly.
It was written properly until they changed it.
Yes.
Until the studio changed it, yes.
But that seems to be the case with like most films that tend to be like lackluster with presentation. Probably started good, but somehow ended up in the old shit show realm.
But like I said, I had no intention of wanting to see that Texas Chainsaw movie to begin with until I listened to the interview with Adam Marcus, and that really changed my mind. And I really want to see it now because knowing what it could have been, I want to see how it finally turned out.
Oh, it's great. I love the movie. I love the Leatherface, but that's for another day.
Right.
Yeah. So that'll be an hour conversation alone.
Yes. Bobby, what do you think of the storyline?
Well, I didn't really learn about this one until much more recently, so this was kind of the first time seeing about it. The storyline sounds good. Picks up after part 4, which is probably my number 1 favorite, with part 6 coming in second. So I would say it sounds good. I didn't really get a whole lot of information on it. Even as I follow the page, I don't know. Maybe I'm not looking in the right spot, but I'm curious as to how it's going to go. That's pretty much what I have to say about it. I don't really know too much about this one myself. The story does sound good. I just want to see how they do it.
Yes.
Because we have 2 films here taking place after part 4 with totally different things. So it's going to be interesting to see which one has the greatest perspective, basically.
Yeah.
But both do it right in their own way.
I feel like this will be more of a true to a part 4 type feel because they're going to have to. Because remember, it's only a year where Jason Rising can literally do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah. So they really got it. So then my curiosity would be, was Jason buried or did he get up and walk away, but he's dead?
Exactly. And hopefully they touch on that. That way we're able to understand. I'd say within the first 5 minutes of the film, I hope they address that, you know?
That was always something I wanted to explore was Jason dies, but he's never buried. So what's he going to look like?
Yeah. Almost like start the film on the floor of the Jarvis house and his eyes open.
His eyes open and he gets up and he's gone.
No, his eye open.
His eye open. Sorry.
The dead eye.
Yeah, the other one's kind of fucked.
See,
he could grow it back. He could grow it back.
I disagree. That's not what I want to see for the opening shot. That would be too much like the opening shot of part 3, where he gets up from his shack at the end of part 2. I don't want to see that.
Or you go back into the Jarvis house and he's gone.
Yeah, it just shows the empty living room with a blood trail.
Yeah.
I see that I could get behind. I'd like that.
It's kind of inferred and not shown.
That's the only reason sometimes I wish he would talk, because you can imagine if he was walking out of that house like cussing up a storm that he got hit in the head with a fucking machine. Motherfucker! Like you just
these fucking people cut my fucking head open again. I just had this repaired, motherfucker.
Just had this repaired.
The mask won't cover that shit.
Yeah.
My mask is broken. She broke the fucking strap. Which cost me $60.
Coffman, what do you think, buddy?
No, I'm interested. Honestly, I'll be 100% honest. At first, I'm like, oh shit, okay, here we go, another one. Honestly, and I kept thinking, I didn't read into it. I kind of watched the trailer and I kept thinking, what the fuck is this guy doing digging? Like, what's he digging for? And then Jason walks up behind him. I don't know I guess you call it a teaser of sorts or something. I think it was something, but see, some of that was from they previously tried to get this off the ground, I guess a year or two ago. And there was something went wrong, or whether it was, they even talked about it at the end of it, saying like, we had some footage, but it had to go back and be reshot anyways. And so they kind of gave it the time to rewrite some things. But, at first I really wasn't sure, and just reading the storyline, it seemed honestly pretty vague and a little bit too typical, I guess. I was like, man, I've heard this story of, here comes a bunch of people that are going to build a bunch of houses on some old campground land, or, buy this and incorporate. And, I've seen that from, Disney all the way up until, Netflix has done something similar. But as long as they approach it in a way that doesn't make this like, well, okay, now we got big corporate America. So who's going to be the antagonist? Who's going to be the hero? Is Jason going to be the hero and cut every fucking construction guy's throat while they're trying to drive bulldozers around? Or are they going to get to that point? So,
that would be a cool bloodbath. All right. That would be pretty awesome bloodbath.
Well, incorporating some heavy machinery would be interesting. I mean, like the closest
he can't drive.
Right. So, I mean, are they going to try to beat him up with like a bulldozer? I don't know. Like there's 100 different ways to go about it, but I figure with how it's supposed to be, the teenagers are going to empty out their parents' cabins before they're destroyed. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of, well, maybe Jason takes some of them out, but maybe takes out some of these like corporate assholes. Maybe the corporate asshole that's like, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. And like the head guy gets in a fucking dump truck, and then I don't know, Jason's able to push it over. I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
I could just see the corporate guy in a 3-piece suit with a fucking hard hat. Just climbing up into a fucking triaxle. Like I can see that shot right now.
Right. Yeah.
I can see that guy getting a nice sledgehammer straight to the head.
Yeah. And Jason just picks up a sledge and throws it.
And not a side whack on the top of his head, and it smashes his head in.
Just caves it in. Yeah. There you go.
I'm always thinking new kills, so it's like I'd like to see that.
For sure.
100%.
Cast for this film is Peter Anthony as James Deere, Levante Morton. Huh?
Who is he?
James Deere? Who? Jimmy Deere. Levante Morton as Marcus, Griffin Thatcher as Jason Voorhees. Chad, help.
Taja Cardio.
Okay, as Courtney Benson. Callie Huber as Samantha Witt. Nate Clow as Daniel Berlin. Izzy Barcher as Jess. Jonathan Ivey as John. You son of a bitch. Trailer. You can't use your real name. The trailer.
Hey, if Tony Danza can, anyone can.
Great cast. These are the Slashing Cast guys. Great name, by the way. I tell them that. I've had some contact with these guys. Let's just say there might be a little cameo in this film. If you guys are Gore N More fans, pay attention. But that's all I can say until it's officially announced. The trailer. Y'all seen the trailer?
I have not. Like Bobby.
I did not.
Like Bobby, I didn't know there was a trailer. I kind of
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, there's a trailer for this?
I can play it.
If you want, TJ, and all we're going to be doing is hearing stuff, I can go outside with a shovel and start digging.
Yeah, start digging, and then I will get right back.
I was gonna say I'll check it out right when we're done. But like, I didn't know it existed. I just had no idea. And I went on their page.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind, too, I don't know if that was just to show fans, hey, here's what we've started to do.
Like a proof of concept type thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
It was made with no money. Now that they got like $32,000, this is where the fun begins. This is where
they got some good funds. They'll be all right.
Oh, this is where the serious filmmaking really happens. And whenever you procure that amount of funds, especially from a marketing standpoint, I'll tell you what, sky's the limit with this film now. They can
easily,
especially seeing their access to mask makers, the community.
Yeah.
Literally, you can go any direction with the look of this Jason, the feel of this film. They literally can go to all the best of the best and just collect that. And that's what everyone needs to do, is instead of using these films to put separation in the community, use these films for unity in the community.
Yes.
I see.
Absolutely.
That's the type of stuff that you need to do. And they have already done that. Behind the scenes stuff, they're working with other artists within the community to make their film better, to take it to the next level. And that's what you need to do as a filmmaker, especially in the modern era and the Friday the 13th franchise.
Absolutely.
Thoughts? Chad, Cory? What?
I don't know. When you sum it up like that, I mean,
yeah, you really hit the nail on the head. I don't think we can really follow up on that. You said it. You put it
Yeah,
better than any of us could have.
That sums it up, dude. You hit it on the head. Just, yeah.
Okay. I did interview Peter about this film, but then again, I talk to Peter every damn day.
sounds like a personal problem.
I was thinking, damn, that sounds
It's okay,
wrong.
TJ. I talk to you every damn day, so it's okay.
Oh, that's true. Ooh, Bobby. I talk to all you guys every damn day. What are you talking about? Except Chad. Sometimes Chad just put GIFs that nobody notices.
3 days that one on and nobody said anything. Damn it.
He's too concerned about the conversation.
Yeah. Great guy Peter is. We talked about that earlier in the episode. Can't wait for this film. Like I said, sky's the limit, and they're doing everything right. So, recently, Vincent DeSanti took to social media with some Never Hike Alone 2 promos, and then they went to Never Shop Alone and got some milk.
I don't know. I about died when I seen that.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
funny.
that shit's fucking great.
I thought they were going to start like a series or something. I was really excited for that. So we'll see.
Vincent uses Renee Rivas, which he did the Spirit of Haddonfield film with, and they did some promo shots, and it showed Ghost Jason holding a sickle. And yes. So we also see some promo shots of, I don't know, kind of look like a boy band cover, which was turned into the Never Shop Alone meme, which is epic. It's really, really great. But that just means Never Hike Alone 2 is on the horizon. And the fan film that started it all will be coming back with another attempt to captivate audiences and Friday the 13th fans alike. So speculation, where are they going to go with this? What can they do? And with the slew of fan films right now, is now the time to try to get money for this type of stuff, or should you wait till it all dies down? What is the marketing tactics going to be behind Never Hike Alone 2? And where do you guys seeing it going from here? Chad, start us off.
Well, I think he absolutely needs to try and get the funding for it now. You got to strike while that iron's hot.
Hot!
Never Hike Alone is still fresh in everyone's mind, and everybody wants a sequel like right now.
Yeah.
So you really got to, jump on that bandwagon while, everybody wants it. You don't want to, a couple years down the line say, oh, hey, here's a sequel, by the way. And everybody's like, we've already seen, been there.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. But yeah, doing it now, perfect time. It's like I was discussing with the guys a few minutes ago when you stepped out. This is a great time to be a Friday the 13th fan.
Yes.
Because we're having all these,
It is.
we have all these fantastic projects that are coming out. We've got so much to look forward to, like the 3 we're talking about here. We're Never Hike Alone 2, the original Never Hike Alone, which everybody has to give a chance to. If you haven't seen it, you really got to watch it. It's for a short film, they accomplish so much in it.
Yes.
But that's that's discussion for another time.
Yes.
Pretty much. But yeah, I think right now, while everybody's jumping on this, and right now with the whole legal problem of getting the actual Friday the 13th movies moving forward, this is the prime time to do it.
Bobby.
The first Never Hike Alone was obviously since it started. I remember when I first saw that movie. Literally, it's a movie. It's a Friday the 13th movie, and I remember going, Jesus Christ, they really did very well with this. I was curious how they did it with one person and Jason. I was like, okay. And I remember watching it going, this is fucking good. I stopped it the first time. I watched it again. I think I watched it about 3 or 4 times in one day. Like, that's how I was like, this is fucking good. I loved every part of that first film. So for a second film, yeah, now is the time to do it. You got to look at it like the first Friday the 13th going to the second one. Now's the time. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Get it done. Let's see where this is going to go. Because that Ghost Jason, I love that concept. Like, he looked mean. He was mean. You weren't stopping him for shit. So I want to see how this, if they do this second film, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be the one person again? Or is it going to be a group of people, but somehow everybody is alone in these woods? They got to do it. Whether they do it or don't, they have to do it. And it's got to be now.
Okay. Cory.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes. I think they may do funding for it. It only makes sense. I mean, just seeing what projects are getting funding that probably don't even deserve funding.
Yeah.
They'll get the funding. But however, I mean, if you really follow some of these cryptic messages that roll through the Never Hike Alone campaign stuff, I bet they have more than half the funding already there. I mean, they did so many after the fact runs of materials and videos and second runs of masks and this and this, and every once in a while you'd see at the end of it where they'd be like, hey, but if you ever want to see something after this, buy this now or whatever. And they've done like three different editions of the Blu-ray and DVD. Like, look, I got all the shit from the first run of everything. Now, with the first run of everything, and I'm going to go against the grain with some of you guys. When the movie first came out, I was all about it. Why? Because there was nothing else going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I was very like, oh, this is shiny. This is so cool.
So fresh,
And
so
look,
face. Ben Shapiro.
yeah, and that was the thing. I was like, oh, cool. Well, something happened. So I was like uber excited. I was, girl in a pink dress with the hot dog and a donut, whatever.
I was the same boat as you. Man. I was the same exact way.
We were sharing the same hot dog and donut. It's great. Now, but the thing was, like, honestly, but the opposite happened for me. The more I watched the original, the shine came off a lot for me. Now, the only thing that stuck with me, it was like, once I got that mask in my hand, I said, good, I got what I wanted. And the mask design stuck with me. Everything else I started like really scrutinizing, like, okay, and I know I'm not going to get too far off tangent with, discussing the original one. Cause I want to talk about the second one and where they go from here, but the continuity stuff, I'm not saying they had to, you don't have to do that at all. But as a Friday the 13th fan, from my perspective, I seen less and less of like, okay, none of this really makes sense to me. But it was the aspect of it. It worked for me in the beginning because thank God I got something to lash onto, as a Friday the 13th fan, and then the look. But now in terms of the second one, I think he's going to end up doing a series of probably 5. I'm not even joking. I don't see him probably making each one 2 hours long.
No.
But I bet this formula for him works so well that he goes, well, I can do a mini series. And maybe the next one explores the Jarvis thing a little bit more. Although, again, my problem is with going anywhere after the first one, it's like, okay, I'm already kind of timeline confused. And again, there's going to be people that are like, well, if that's your only thing to bitch about, don't bitch about it. But as a fan, I'm like, well, people bitch about continuity all the time. We just bitched about 7 and 8 when it came to Vengeance being 30 years after part 6.
That's true.
There's really, and with this one, I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. You go back to the first one, you got, police tags everywhere of bodies from part 1 and scenes from part 1, but Tommy's in it, so it makes you think it's after part 6. But the Jason has no continuity in terms of look, other than maybe a small little sliver in his head, but he has a new mask. So there's a lot of that weird continuity shit that I'm like, okay, wait a minute. None of this really made sense. Yeah, Jason's still in the woods, but where does this fall in terms of a timeline? Does it need to? Maybe not. Maybe it's a whole different kind of universal type thing. Maybe people are jumping through portals. I don't know. With the video game and how things are, you can go in any direction you want. And I have a feeling Vincent will do that. I think they'll probably explore Tommy a little bit further because, as we all know, we don't see Tom Matthews in any other of these fan films going on, right? So I'm pretty sure Vincent has him under lock and key. Probably promised him 3 or 4 films, honestly, and says, hey, we want to don't do anything else. If someone wants you, that's too bad. We want to keep you because we got an idea of where we want to take this Jarvis character possibly. So I think there's plenty of directions they can go to. My speculation on it, is maybe this will be part 2 of probably 4 or 5 parts. And I see him keeping it at the short kind of film, chemical kind of aesthetic that they got. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it, I guess.
Yeah, he said that in our interview that he plans on releasing, like, this is an anthology series, like each shorter film, like he's gonna, like, I think he's gonna aim in that 45 minute to an hour long time slot where each story is gonna tell a different Ghost Jason story.
Is this like Goosebumps?
Yeah,
like Goosebumps,
it's gonna be like,
Are You
it's
Afraid
gonna
of
be
the Dark? Is that what it's gonna come down to?
It's gonna be Goosebumps.
That's what it sounds like it would come down to.
But Vincent Cassani is our L. Stein of Ghost Jason.
It's different. It's different.
Ghost Jason is Vincent's. What is it? What's the doll's name in Goosebumps? Clappy? Or Slappy.
Yeah.
Ghost Jason is Vincent Slappy.
All right. Who's going to Photoshop that picture next?
Right. I did get the chance to interview Vincent and Andrew, both in the Never Hike Alone film. Both great interviews, very, very informative. It was really cool to see that one of our sponsors, Joe, kind of, he told me behind the scenes that Joe kind of came up with the name for Ghost Jason, so that's pretty neat. But definitely became a big part of the community ever since its release, Never Hike Alone 1, and it's very, very interesting to see where Never Hike Alone 2 goes, especially after listening to the interview that I've done with him and the information that he's let me know through that. It'll be cool, especially to see where it's going to fit after this wave of fan films is over. And as soon as the dust settles, we'll be able to have all this fresh content. So fresh, so face.
Fresh. Super fresh.
But that's all we have for the fan film topics. But moving on, the future of the Friday the 13th franchise. The legal battle currently going on.
This is where it gets ugly.
Oh, it's going to get ugly, all right.
So, through our interview with Adam Marcus on the Gore N More podcast, we found out the exact reason and Sean's true colors.
Yeah.
Uncle Sean, as we call him in Gore N More now, because of that interview. Anyway, the guy sold the rights to the name Jason Voorhees and not Friday the 13th, fucked up everything, which has led us to the shitstorm that we are in now, where we are in development hell. As in development hell, as nothing can be developed because of greed, because of people selling rights to names that don't need to be sold unless you're selling the fucking Friday the 13th name with it.
Exactly.
Anybody want to comment on this first? Call dibs. Anybody?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go.
Get it.
All right. So I don't remember when this lawsuit first came around, and this was when the game was just starting to really start to peak. Like it was starting to get new shit. They were going to have Uber Jason. And then like a week after they announced it, boom, everything got frozen. It was like you had that cookie in your hand and it was gone, but you didn't get a chance to bite it. It was out of your fucking hand. And then I remember when Larry Zinner, he came because he's a copyright lawyer. He went through the whole story of that Victor Miller basically has the rights after 35 years. He can file for, I forget exactly what he said, the rights to that, to the film. But then apparently at the time when he did, it didn't go through. So he then waited a little more to do it again. So he was planning on doing this before this lawsuit happened.
Uh-huh.
Which is the fucked up part. Because think about it. Who out of everybody in the whole series, writers, directors, actors, you name it, who did you never hear from? Victor Miller. Where was he? Did he give a shit? Not to badmouth him, but at the same time, it's like, well, everybody else was supporting these films. His name was never brought up in any of the sequels. Nothing. And now he wants a piece of the pie. As you can see, he sees how much it has grown. And not only that, it's continued on. Now we're not getting anything from any companies. You're not getting any figures. You're not getting any films, which we haven't gotten since 2009 to begin with. And now you're not getting any new game content. So it really opened up a can of worms. It opened up a fucking bucket of worms. And they said it could take up to more than a few years to even settle this, because now Sean did an appeal. That was a recent news that I read about. I'm sure the rest of you have too.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think, we, as you said from the Adam Marcus interview, TJ, which I loved, because just hearing him talk was fantastic in general, that, he lied about some things when it came to Jason Goes to Hell and all that shit. I personally think he should have just kept him himself. He really did keep it alive for a long time.
Yeah.
That's my personal take on it. But at the same time, if they have to reach an agreement, 50-50, get us fans happy. I mean, we're happy now because of all the shit we're getting. But if you want films from these studios, 50-50, shut up and get on with it. We're not here forever. I want to see at least another film from a big studio.
Okay, and yes, that's what we all want. But Victor Miller isn't the one to blame here. It is 100% on Sean Cunningham. Sean Cunningham is the one that he wants full total rights. He's the one that does not want to negotiate. He wants it all. Victor Miller said time and again he wants to settle this. He just wants what's due to him. He just wants the original copyright back, and he wants them to continue making movies because, of course, he wants money. But Sean Cunningham is saying, no, you did it, work for hire. You don't own jack shit. I do.
Yeah, that's true.
It is 100% Sean Cunningham's fault that we're not getting anything.
Also, if you hate Jason Goes to Hell, don't give Adam Marcus shit because he wrote an incredible script and all of his ideas were fucking amazing. You hate Sean Cunningham because everything that fucking is wrong with Jason Goes to Hell is directly caused by him.
Yep.
I love that idea that Adam had with the hockey mask coming through the face.
Yes,
I would have loved to have seen that.
That would have been insane.
I just wish someone would bring that to life.
Yeah, right? I really wish somebody would.
Hey, real quick, guys. Nobody's done a fan film for After Jason Goes to Hell. I'm telling you.
Bobby,
right.
you just want to do it.
I would do it in a heartbeat. Listen.
That's a lot of fire.
Listen,
that's a lot of fire, bro.
Listen, I have a cosplay in mind for what happens after that film. Don't even get me started.
We could use the original Freddy versus Jason concepts.
Say that again?
We could use the original Freddy versus Jason concepts. We can bring the dagger back in, a Necronomicon. We definitely don't have know anybody that has props for that sort of stuff.
We don't? Well, listen, my idea always was to have a Jason Goes to Hell sequel that leads into Freddy versus Jason. Like, I wanted to have Jason cause some serious carnage after Jason Goes to Hell.
How are we going to explain the look difference?
Huh?
How are we going to explain the look difference between Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X? No. Yeah.
Fuck put it this way. You don't bother with Jason X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because technically Jason X didn't bother with anything.
Okay, so then how do we make him look like Freddy versus Jason? How all of a sudden did he get really tall and Frankenstein-like?
We can ignore that too.
The swelling down in his head, okay?
Hey, listen. They've created films that ignored everything else. Why can't we do the same?
That's true. Like Halloween.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, listen, I'm telling you, you make a sequel to Jason Goes to Hell. If you have Jason come back, you just tweak the look a little bit.
And then we pay a lot of money to have what's his nuts? Ash come in at the end, kick the door open, and all you hear is the chainsaw.
Now, see,
Groovy.
what I want to see is a Jason Goes to Hell sequel using the Savini Jason design from the game.
Yeah, that would
That'd
be cool
badass.
too.
You
That'd
see
be
him
badass.
crawling out of the dirt. It's like
No.
5 minutes later
You have him
after
come.
Jason Goes to Hell, you see Sweetie Jason coming out.
If you're gonna have Jason come back, you have him come through the water as it boils because he's coming up from hell.
That I would, yeah, that'd be sick.
See? Yeah.
Bobby got ideas.
Dude, you have no idea. I've thought about a sequel to Jason Goes to Hell since I fucking saw the movie.
Or you could even have somebody reading the Necronomicon, and then Jason bursts out of the bursts out of the fucking ground, like jumps up and like lands, and it's just.
I would say if you're gonna do a look for Jason, make a combination of the Jason Goes to Hell look and Savini Jason.
Okay.
Really get involved.
Really
with it.
burn him.
Burn him. That lumpy head with that mask sunken in. Come on, it's gonna look sick.
Yeah. So Cory, what do you think, man?
No, I mean, God, dude, I don't know. I've been curious to see how fans react to Sean Cunningham at these conventions, and
He probably
We will let you know in a month. We'll let you know in a
Yeah,
month.
that's right. We're gonna have to find out soon enough.
Because everybody on this
autograph
podcast will be
first
there.
before I kick anybody's ass.
Yeah, we gotta all just get the autograph first, and we'll take care of it from there.
Did you see on the Gore N More page somebody's like, "We're gonna fist his asshole," and I was like, "You can't do that because you got to take his head out of it first."
There's always room.
I just want to walk up to him. I just want to walk up to him and wait right before he signs it. Like, oh wait, no, I want Victor Miller to sign this instead.
Oh, sweet bird.
Oh.
Wait, you're
We're
not
just
Victor
calling-
Miller.
Yeah, you need to pretend that you're oblivious. Like, hey, Victor, just just pretend that you don't know who the hell he is. Just keep calling him Victor the whole time.
He'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was meeting the original creator of Friday the 13th.
The rightful
He'll be like,
creator.
God damn it! you fucking assholes every time. Like,
Every
dude, I'm
time
sorry.
this happens.
And I'm like, do you know Adam Marcus? Like, I don't know.
Oh God.
But when it comes down to, I mean, yeah, it sucks about all this legal bullshit, man. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like me and a bunch of other Friday the 13th nuts like us are just like, we gotta make our collections as big as we can, so then it's worth $1 billion because there won't be anything fucking else out there except like handmade shit from Cabin 13 or fan films from God knows where. personal plug. I'm still waiting for them to come fucking wring my neck for all the shit that we're doing. You know,
Cory, I like how you felt the need to do that after your commercial already has played.
You're right. You're right.
well,
though.
it's only been
you're
like
right, though.
2 hours since the fucking thing played. So I mean, you know, it's not worth.
That's okay.
I would worry about the trickle down effect too, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like a Disney thing. Like, sir, you guys send me a cease and desist, really, for something I fucking.
Hey, we send those.
You know,
Listen, if they start handing out cease and desists for fan shit and everything, that's terrible. That is just terrible.
Bobby's
Well, it
going to
is,
show up to
because
Sean
that would
Cunningham's house in full cosplay and kick his ass.
Hey, listen.
get your ass out here right now.
No, listen, TJ. Nobody will know. They'll never find
Well,
him.
no.
I work on a farm. They'll never find him.
You know what they say? No body, no crime.
Right.
Well, and
Never saw him.
remember, you know what Sean hates the most, though, right?
What?
No, what? Say it.
The hockey mask.
Yeah.
It's true.
He fucking despises the fact that a hockey mask was ever. And I was like, you should just have him sign a bunch of hockey masks.
We should have started Indiegogo. It's a send a hockey mask to John Cunningham.
Wait, right. You know what the fucked up?
No,
You know
we need to start an
the fucked up thing
Indiegogo to
about
get
it is-
everybody waiting in
is in
line
the
to get
Camp
autographs.
Crystal-
To wearing hockey
In the
masks.
Camp Crystal Lake DVD, he mentions, he's like, we had a story for Jason Goes to Hell, yet it wasn't, we should have kept the hockey mask in the film. I swear to God, he says it. You've seen it, I'm sure.
He told
told
Adam, he goes, get that fucking mask out of here. Like, he's like, whatever.
Yeah,
you do,
like-
get that mask. And I'm like, dude, yeah, let's take the most iconic thing that it's known for.
just get rid of it. Like, how?
But that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. I think with me, I'm kind of curious to see how many more fan films get made. I mean, it's a wonder. Like, it's crazy to see how like affluent the fans are, and they're like, you don't see any other fandom doing this like uncontrollably. Like,
Yeah.
fan films, and I think that's a testament just as the reach that it is.
I mean, look at the Halloween community, not to bash them or anything, but they're like, hey, we got a 30th different look of the Halloween 1 mask. Look at this. Look, I have the same mask that like 30 other people made, but mine's different. It's using
The eye holes are 1 centimeter bigger.
Yes.
has wrinkles.
Has wrinkles.
We're getting wrinkly.
But that's the thing. I don't know. And so the legal battle, I'm so over it. I mean, it's either going to get figured out in 6 months or it's going to get figured out in 6 years, 16 years. At this point, I don't give a shit because I like what everyone else is starting to say. If and when Hollywood comes back out with something, they're going to fuck it up. I bet you money that will.
Well, if
Because
LeBron James is there, it'll be okay.
You got all these fan films that's the new bar.
Yeah.
And there's some of these fan films are starting to slowly outweigh some of the films in the franchise. But
Oh, yeah.
but like Bobby was saying, I mean, like Bobby wants to see something between Hell and the Savini thing. As much I'm a weird. I love the look of Part 8, and I would actually love to say, okay, I know a lot of weird shit happened in Part 8 that didn't make any sense, but I would love to do a transition from 8 to 9.
Ooh, yes. I've thought about that too.
Because I mean, I don't give a shit if his body somehow floated all the way back to Crystal Lake. I don't give a shit. Like, I was like, there's a lot to kind of connect. And I think having the right communication with people like Marcus, Adam Marcus, and figuring out some things, you could connect some dots and just make some really cool content that doesn't need to be done. No. Can it be done? Well, fuck yeah, it can. So
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
And I think it'd be really cool to pursue these really off the wall concepts. And the rate things are going, if you can sell it to the fans, and that's what I wanted to touch on, because I'm not going to mention the films that we're not going to mention, and that's not our fault, but it's the fact that you can see what's been successful because of the heart put into it, the seriousness put into it. And, if you can put a trailer together or something, that's what the fans want to see is like, okay, what am I actually putting money towards?
Yeah.
Someone who can kind of fuck with iMovie a little bit. No, you're not going to put money to that. You want to put money towards something that looks halfway serious, has potential in your eyes as a fan. And I think this could go on for some time. And I don't think it's a negative thing. I don't think it's ever going to water down.
I agree.
I think it's only going to open up the fandom to just exploring different avenues. And like I said, Hollywood's going to have it really stacked against them, because when they figure this shit out, if and when they do, they're like, well, fuck, what hasn't been done yet?
It's all going to have been done.
Yeah. And it's like, well, shit. Okay. We got it figured out legally, but we don't have a story, So I don't know. I think it's going to open up a lot of avenues, and it's cool to see some people, gain some success off this. But again, the other cool thing is that these fan films, for the most part, most of them, actually have brains enough to make sure that they know where all this extra profit's going. And seeing that some of them are actually putting it towards good causes and actually, making some, I think, Vincente was doing some stuff with some deforestation, vengeance with the Shriners Children's Hospital.
Gore N More with that Shriners Hospital.
Yeah. And that's what the cool part is like, no one's making profit off this, or at least they're not supposed to. But the fact that it's going back into some serious issues that are going on, is just another testament to it. And so it's not like someone's like, oh, they're just doing this for the money. Well, guess what? That money's not going in their pockets. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to go towards something. And some of these films are actually making sure that that's happening. And that's really cool too. So again, Hollywood's just going to look like a big money grabbing asshole when it comes down to it. Just like they are right now. And guess what? No one's making no fucking money if they keep drawing this shit out. So
that's true. Like you said, there's a lot of ideas out there for Jason. Because every movie has its own explanation. You can make a sequel to one.
What just happened?
Did we lose Bobby?
He stroked out. Okay, so
no, God damn it, Bobby.
Anyway, yeah, this has been a long episode.
It's because it's serious.
It is. This is one of our very serious episodes. Ooh.
We just wanted to beat the Adam Marcus interview.
I wanted to call this episode "More Fan Films Than You Can Swing a Machete At," but I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. We'll do that post. So, to wrap up the podcast, the Friday the 13th community is strong. It is thriving, and it's something that you guys have never seen before. And we're just happy that we get to be smack dab in the middle of it. And everyone here is just such a big part of that. We love these films. We support all fan films. And this is kind of our way of giving back and also thanking everybody for working with us and giving us so far one of the best years of Dewback. I said at the beginning of this year, Dewback 2019, and I fucking meant it. We are on a uphill slope to awesome, and I can't wait to see where we go. And it's great to have our new sponsors such as Cabin 13, Horror Costume Studios, and Curse Custom Weathering. Took a breath in there. To have them on board and just to see where we can grow, go, and just conquer the world of pop culture, news, and podcasting.
There's Bobby.
Bobby.
And he's back.
Sorry, my shit went to, I don't know, my phone's being a bitch.
It went to hell. That fucking glove came up and just grabbed it all and just took you right.
What are we talking about?
We're wrapping up the podcast. But yeah, to shill the network, I will do that since I guess I do it a little too
Hello.
much. Can you, Bobby? You there?
Can you hear us, Bobby?
God damn it, Bobby!
God damn it!
What happened?
You like disappeared, bro. Bobby.
What the fuck?
Sorry, guys, we're experiencing some testicle difficulties here.
Stop playing with your balls.
But anyway, let's chill the network. Just a friendly reminder that the Gore N More podcast, sponsored by Cabin 13 Horror Costume Studios, Curse Custom Weathering, and Gallows Goes to Hell, 13 Gallows Lane, whatever you want to call them, is part of the Dewback Discussion Podcast Network, featuring other great podcasts such as the Dark the Curtain podcast, featuring your Mid-South maniac Cory Coffman.
What?
Oh yeah, the Wicked Wednesday, the Wicked Wednesdays podcast, sometimes featuring Bobby.
That's true.
Sometimes featuring Bobby, and it's Cartman impression at the beginning of episodes. At the beginning, you can hear Bobby in the background. The Dewback Discussion Podcast, The Hall of Heroes, Rabbit Hole, Dream Warrior Review. Did I miss any?
I don't know. I just work here.
All of those you can find on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and of course, DewbackDiscussion.net, your home for pop culture news, podcasting, and much more. And visit our TeePublic store for all of your great Dewback merch. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Gore N More podcast. This is your host with the most, TJ Bowser, signing off.
Your Dark Little Master, Chad Chrisman, signing off.
Your Mid-South maniac, Cory Coffman, signing off, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Killing Machine Cosplay, signing off. Kill you later.
Billy and Pete and the Red Hot Dead, the Macabre